move that before I turn it up. Hey, good morning, everyone. I should probably try to warm up before I do these live streams so I don't fluff stuff like that. And I hope you liked that slightly unresolved ending there on a major sus2 chord that I'll get to soon. So, N60 foul sus and imposter sus. Okay, good to see you. Horoi amigos. Okay, so hey everyone. I'm already getting distracted. How's everyone doing today? Also, where's everyone coming from in the world today? If we do a bit of a roll call, I already see some familiar faces coming in. We've got Collins again. Good to see you again. David, hi. Good to see you. Rhino, you asked, am I going to do a Tim Henson review eventually? I do plan to still do that one. But I think my trial ran out now, so I'll probably have to buy it. And I didn't buy it when it was on the Black Friday sale, so there might be if I find some use for it. Thanks, David, from the United States. Which state? North Dakota, T-San. Excellent. Right, what was I going to say? Yeah, the Tim Henson thing. Yeah, I'd like to try and do that. I need to work out how to get it, so I can actually, share the audio with you. The joys of live streaming or using OBS, if you've tried it before, is a bit of a minefield trying to work that kind of stuff out. From Chile, Alonso, great. Right. Okay, no problem, Rhino. All right. All right, Collins, also from the US. Excellent. An interesting question, Adam. They said they're pretty new at guitar. I know a lot of people recommend blues at the start, but I can start with math rock. Of course you can, but I wouldn't skip over like the essential techniques and stuff like that. You can just where you would dedicate your time. Like you said, we've recommended with blues there. So if you're going to learn like, minor pentatonic and stuff, or the blues scale, perhaps that won't be so useful for you. The minor pentatonic, by the way, is fantastically useful, but I probably give the blues scale a miss for now and concentrate on things that will get you more towards playing, math rock in that regard. So if you're looking at technique, you're going to be looking at finger tapping, hybrid picking, finger picking, these kind of things, and have a play with those, see which ones you like, and also think about what kind of riffs you want to learn, what are the nuances you want to do in your playing, and then that will provide some kind of roadmap to get you started. And then it's just a trial and error process of like, okay, I tried this technique, it wasn't really working for me, it doesn't really inspire me, so I'll give that one a miss. It's completely possible to do play math rock with no tapping or just very minimal tapping, for example, if you're finding that's something that doesn't really attract you to the style of playing, for example. If it's more the songwriting side or the looking at like different kinds of like angular melody style and chord creation, then concentrate on that instead. So going a bit all over the place. I'm trying to give you a general answer, of course, here, but identify what it is you want to play. What particular niche are you going for within already a niche style of music, and try to jot some things down there. That would be my advice for you, Adam. But of course, you don't need to start with learning those kind of things, but the technique is very important. Like learn your alternate picking, learn these chord shapes. Even if they are used in blues music, they're used in everything else as well. So start with your open chords, go with triads, then start looking at using quadrats, which are seven chords, and then looking at the ones that are in between, which is basically what we're looking at today. And I forgot to say, I was laughing at the start because I made a bunch of files for today to show you these chords, and just one of the files I call basic sus. So just giggling at that because I'm very immature. All right. Okay, Anna, Christiana Santos. Hello, good to see you. I think you're new here. Stephen. Okay, Clay from Oregon. Okay, excellent. Okay, Rhino, great question. I need to get on with the lesson stuff, but okay. Am I going to get the Y20, the Yvette Young new one? No plans at the moment. I can't say for the future, though, what will happen there. I have too many guitars already, if I'm honest. Okay, Adam, you followed up. Cool. I'll let my guitar teacher teach me blues, and I'll work at math rock at home. Yeah, that might not be the best teacher for you, but it's hard to find someone specialized in just teaching math rock for private lessons, right? I get asked all the time to do it, but unfortunately, with my my full time job and my life at the moment, I just don't have the extra time for it, and I really want to do it though. But perhaps if I ever do this full time, then I would use that to make some extra income and also do the thing that I want to do, which is teach guitar lessons in that regards. But your teacher should be versatile enough to get. I would, like I said, make some notes of stuff that you want to learn and see how they can help you there. Okay, okay, sus. We're gonna get to the sus chords. Okay, Freaky, I'll come back to you soon, Nomad. But it's a very hard question there, but I'll try my best when we come back. So I'm gonna load up these chords. We're looking at sus chords today, and I think I need to take you on a journey. I'm gonna start at trying to find my pick here. What is a sus chord? And how can you use them, basically? And as the title suggests, I'm going to try and teach you a really nice sus2 and sus4 shape that really works well for that quintessential Midwest emo kind of sound. So with sus chords, no, that's no. Why have you gone small? Because I used the wrong one. There we go. I'll need to fit that extra chord in. Apologies. There we go. That's what I wanted to do earlier. So it's not right in my face. So sus chords. So you might be familiar with these shapes, like an E sus2, let's say, and then you have your E major shape, and then the E sus4 shape. So usually these are the ones that you'll learn from the A string roots, in particular guitar books. So if you have lessons, because they fall into that, that major shape that you've probably already learned. So a sus chord replaces the third degree of either a major or a minor chord. So in this case, we're looking at E major, and I've indicated with the blue note here, this is your major third. So you've got your root, which is E, the fifth, the root again. So those octaves that are great for pop punk, and then you've got your third degree here. So when we say a chord is sus, we replace this third with the second instead. So we go from that major sound. So let's play the sus2 at the start here. And then we also have something called a sus4, which we replace the third with a fourth. So there's a sus2 possibility and a sus4 possibility. This is where we will replace the third with either a second or the fourth degree, from the major scale. In this case, this is going to be the E major scale. So we've got our second degree here. So if you were playing for the E major scale, this is your first, right? This is your second. So you do that octave higher. There's that second note. And then you go through the E major scale, root, second, third, and you got your fourth there, and you play that octave there for the sus4 shape. So that's essentially how they work. They replace the third in the chord, and they give it this uncertain quality. So we don't know if we're either a major or a minor chord in this regard. So you can replace major and minor chords within a key, and you can't do a sus2 shape and a sus4 shape for every chord within the key. Basically off the seventh you can't do either of them, and I've written it down somewhere, but I've added this to my guide, math rock guide, that I'm updating at the moment. So the other ones though, if I was just to tell you quickly, from the third degree, if you build the minor chord, you can't play a sus2, and from a fourth, from the major, you can't play a sus4, and from the sixth, no, that's it. So just the second and the third, and the fourth, you can't do all of the sus chord shapes there. But I'll leave that for later. If that makes sense to you, that makes sense to you. So these are the shapes that you will usually learn when it comes to sus chords. And what are they useful for? They're useful for movements within the chord itself. So if you're playing, let's say, an A major chord, right, up here, there's a possibility to take this third away and play the second instead. So we've got some movement within the chord itself. We can even add the fourth in there, right? Or we could go sus2, major, and we have this going on in the chord. So that it's another tool for you for when you're playing chords, just to get that, just some movement within the chord to make your idea more interesting. It's giving you more options, basically. I want you to think of it as that way. So these chords, they sound very poppy. They don't sound, when we think of sus chords that are used in like Midwest emo, for example, they don't kind of fit that kind of vibe. So that's where we're going to switch over now to from the basic sus to these other sus chord shapes here. And let's see if that's on screen. Yes, excellent, good stuff. Right, I'm just going to take some coffee. Make it sound like a drug, right? Well, it is, but you know what I mean. Take some coffee. So we're going to use this major triad shape instead. And apologies if the whole getting everything in shot here is always a fun challenge. I need to get a full frame camera. I think that's what I've learned. I gotta fork out the cash. I get like a Sony what do you call it? A37, I don't know. But I digress. So E major triad like this. So that's your E major triad. So we're going to replace the second here instead. And then we're going to replace our fourth here. And I've also added an octave as well of the E here. There's a reason for that. I'll come to that soon. So let's compare these sounds. So that's the E major sound. So let's play the sus2 sound. So let's compare it with the other E sus2 sound. Now we play that the sus2 sound I'm showing you. So to me, that tension there, that has more tension to it, right? Because the first and the second are really close together. And to me, that sounds more appropriate for Midwest emo, for the more of a melancholy kind of vibe. Does everyone agree with that? It sounds that sus2 verses. And we're going to make this even more emo sounding soon. We could also do the sus4 shape here. It might be a bit of a stretch for you, but it's good exercise at the same time. So we get that sus2 sound. Now let's bring in the sus4 sound. So that's sus4 versus this sus4. It has a different feel to it, right? You could even get like the major 9 sound in there. So major, sus2, sus4, and maybe add that major 9 at the end there, sounds nice. But again, it's all about movement, right? So we have this, instead of the higher note in the melody moving, we have this here instead. 3, 2, 4. And then 4. So it just provides a different feel, and to me it feels more that Midwest emo sound for me. It sounds more sad. So yeah, like Nate says, sus chords always sound sad for some reason. And it's because they have neither that major kind of like float in between, don't they, in that regard? All right. Okay, just looking at the chat. I'm trying to keep things going at the same time. I'm usually bad for ignoring the chat in this regard. So there's a reason why I chose to add this doubling of the root as well. I also chose E as well because you can add in the low E and the high E, so you get like a really full kind of sound. That's another reason why we're here. But let me get this down. Bit of magic again. Is that gonna work? No, that makes it bigger. Whoops. Alt. Let's drag that down. There we go. So we've got a bunch of other chords coming in. Don't panic. There's a very minor difference to these here. So what we can do now with this root, this E to E, we can flatten it and then have a major 7 interval. Sounds quite nasty, right? But we'll add the rest of the chord in here. So we're starting with this E major 7 shape here. Now we're getting even more into that E major territory, right? And then we replace our third with the second. And then that is an amazing chord. E major 7 sus2. If that doesn't sound, to me that just sounds like that's what I was playing in the intro as well. Sounds very Midwest, that emo revival sound as well. The other thing as well is this E sus4, which has quite a lot of tension to it. E major 7, sorry, sus4. Bit of a stretch, that one. So you can be forgiven if you don't want to use that one. It has a lot more tension to it too, as well. So E major 7, E major 7 sus2, and then E major 7 sus4, E sus4, and we could add that E add 9, sorry, not major 9. I keep calling it a major 9. There's a reason it's called an add 9. If it had this 7th in it, as well as this 9th, then you would call it an E major 9. But seems how we don't have the 7th degree, we call it an add 9. We have the 1, the 3, and the 5, and we've added the 9th degree on here, the 2nd, but it's an octave up. So we call it add 9. And then you can start to mess with the notes that you're playing there, the notes that you can take away from each chord and add. So we don't even have to move our progression. So we got major, major 7. If you take that pull off there, and then take that note off, and you got that 2nd there, which sounds cool. And then we could go for the E sus sound, E sus4, and that sounds like it's going to loop back round to the start of the progression, right? Whoops. So there's a whole bunch of chords you can use around that, the E major sound. We could move it then, because it feels like it needs to go somewhere, right? So in the intro, I went to the 4th, which is an A major sound. I did the A sus2 sound, major sus2 sound, sorry, major 7 sus2 sound. But I thought, because I'm playing this octave here of the A, I could just play the open A, right? And get a really nice chord there. And then I went to the what was it doing here? The 6th. So C sharp. This is a sus2 shape, but I just added these open strings in here for some tension. And then I ended on like that B sus2. the regular chord shape that we learnt at the beginning, and then back round to the start again. So I made like a 1, 4, 6, and 5 progression in the key of E major there from that. And I could go further. I could think about all the more of the intricacies of like on this A shape. I could add that sus4 shape. Sorry. Major sus2, major 7 sus2, add 9 shape there as well. It's just so much availability to you there just by learning moving a few notes within the chord itself. So I'm trying not to confuse. I'm trying to give you a roadmap of how you could use these chords, because there's no learning them is one point, but then like making it work and moving the progression is what I get asked all the time, and it's not that easy to just say. It's not black and white, right? There's just so many ways you can approach this. So I'm hoping that a lot of that made sense. I tried to keep it as basic as I could, and I'm going to jump back over to, because I'm not looking at what you're writing at the moment. I'm trying to look at these chord shapes. So yeah, I'll keep those on screen anyway for the time being, and I can talk about them. So like every of these live streams that I do, I'll put these chord shapes up on my Patreon page for Patreons, or if you want to be cheeky, you can just steal them now. But I'll put the charts up there, and I'm putting this in the the update of the Math Rock guide, but there'll be more info on it there. There's just so many sus memes today. So was that useful? Everyone find some use from that, you think? Does that start to make more sense? I'm looking at movement within the chord shape you're playing yourself. So you can also do this obviously with your minor chords. It's just you're going to have a minor third instead of that major third there, okay? Yeah. But I'd like you to try that progression. So key of E major, go E, which is the first, A, which is the fourth, and what was it, C, so sixth, and then back to B, so fifth. So you get that 5-1 perfect cadence at the end there. Right, I'm going to jump back over. Let's see how we were doing. Okay. Let's have a look. So I'm going to come back to you, Freaky, soon. But there's a good suggestion with Rhino. Try playing in alternate tunings. And that does lead into this kind of sus sound, because when you put your guitar in a different tuning, you're just throwing your fingers about the place a lot of the time, trying to find stuff that sounds nice. And a lot of it will end up being somewhat inspired by that your ears drawn to that sound, right? That kind of in-between kind of sus sound. So it's not strictly major and not strictly minor. You'll find a lot of the chords come out that way. All right. Adamus. Yeah, I wouldn't really call myself like a math rock teacher. I know a bunch of stuff. I'm still like on this journey myself, studying what's out there and trying to translate that into stuff that we can learn, because there's so much to touch upon. And that's kind of what my book is. I keep updating it, adding new things as I learn new things, and having a lot of fun with that. Okay. Nate says this chat is golden. I haven't got time to stop and look at all of the sussy chord. That's sus. Okay, maybe I have. Okay, see you, Collins. I guess you've already gone, but yeah. Right, so I forgot to say, if you are new to these live streams, I tend to do like a bit of content tutorial at the start like this, and then just open it up to questions after. So I'll take the chords off screen for now, and I'll try and answer some questions. Again, I'll do my best to help you, and please, let's help each other out. That's always useful for me as well. Okay. Thanks, Solo. It is a beautiful sounding Telecaster, the old Finn line. Um, Sorry, I just saw a Praetorian. That better be work stuff up there. I forgot to say, did you all see the Everett Young meme video I made? Did you see the Christmas one as well? By the way, I put that out on Friday. It's not doing so well. I don't think many people subscribe to my channel for that kind of thing, so I understand why. But it took me ages to do that video because I had to, like I had to make the guitar profile of everything, learn how to play it, put it all into Ableton and mix it all with the MIDI and stuff like that, then put the video together. It took me it must took me about, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours to do, probably more than that, to be honest, to put it all together. But it was worth it. It was fun in the end. And yeah, and I updated my Guitar Pro, so now it's forgot all of my recent files, which is always typical. There we go. I will do a live stream actually. One of the live streams soon is going to be learning. It's going to be learning the tapping riff from this one. So I'll just share a new screen. Just bear with me a second. Window capture. There we go. So Guitar Pro here. Yeah, so I had like the 2 electric guitars, the electric bass and the drums, and a jingle bell at the bottom there, of course. And yeah, so I made it all in 5/4, most of the songs in 5/4, and like the disjointed rhythm that you have going on up here. So I tap all this in the video, and then like this is like the two-handed tapping thing. What's it? That's it, yeah. Sounds slightly out of tune now, but I did that tapping part there, and then at the end, it goes back to the original in like a 4/4 time for a little bit, and then I just put this, that tapping riff in 5/4 just to, a quarter note gap on the end of everything just to make it sound really, really odd. But I had fun putting that one together, so I hope you enjoyed that video. Just realized you can't even see me anyway because this is on screen. I get rid of that one. There we go. Yeah, but I plan to do a little tutorial on that one in a couple of weeks, just before Christmas there. Right. Okay. I digress. Where were we? So I got about 20 minutes left. Okay, Nate, you asked a good question. Could you tap with these chords? Of course you could. You could just look. Like a really simple trick would be, so we've got E major. If you play the 5th of E major, which is in this regard a B, and in the key that's going to be B major, I would just, on the fly, you could just tap a B major chord with these. It should work with all the sus shapes as well. Sorry, it should be that right. Yeah, so you can definitely tap with them the same way you would with because they're just replacing that major or minor sound. I've told that trick a few times, but whatever chord you're playing, if you take the 5th of that chord, so if you play that power chord, it's the note in the middle. In that regard, that's a B. If you know what key you're in, you can work out if that's a major or minor chord, or you could just do it by ear. So if I'm playing an E major chord, a B, I can tap that B shape down there, basically. Oops. same goes like, let's say we move up to this E, the A shape. Sorry. We can play in an E major chord instead. Oops. Wow, intonation. How sharp that note is. And then we could come down to this C minor, and the fifth there is going to be a G, so a G sharp minor chord. And then we played a B last, right? So it's going to be an F sharp minor chord. Whoops. No, is that right? So that's a quick trick you can use to tap something on the fly if somebody asks you. All right, well, everyone's dropping like flies here, so I guess I'm boring everyone to death. But let's see what's going on. Right, let's go back to some questions. So, sounds like Delta Sleep. Okay, Stuart, are you using VST? Sounds great. Nope. Using Rev D20 with the the 2 notes torpedo thing in it, so it's like a cab emulation. So everything you're hearing is like before my audio interface, but it's expensive, but it sounds great. All right. Okay, Joshua, what happened to the Mustang? The Mustang has gone, unfortunately. As much as I really liked that guitar, the neck was like an Ibanez Wizard neck, and I was just getting cramps every time I played it. Way too thin for what I like. And other things, the nut was cut terribly, if I'm honest on it. And not trying to be negative about it, because I did really enjoy playing that guitar. In fact, I've been looking at getting one from the the Ventura series, because I've heard the neck is a bit thicker on that, but the neck was unbelievably thin on that one. And yeah, the pickups basically as well. It didn't sound, when I played this inspires me to play. That was like I had to really work to get it to do what I wanted. So maybe, but the thing that I loved was that because it's like a floating vibrato on it has that warbly kind of sound to it. No matter what you do when you're playing, it's shaking ever so much all the time. So it's got some like kind of natural modulation to it in that regard. So that's my favorite thing about it, but just could never get it to sound how I wanted it to. And like I said, the neck was really, really thin on it as well. So if the opportunity comes again, when I can go to a shop and play some, I'd like to try some again. Well, actually, I did play the the classic vibe one, and that had a much nicer neck on it, to be honest. Like, it was much thicker for what I was looking for, and the frets were well, I didn't mind that. They were like the narrow tall ones, which feel really, really good. So yeah, there's another chance. There'll be time for another Mustang, that's for sure. But it's I sold it to fund towards this, as well as the Les Paul. I sold that as well to put funds towards this one, because this is not a cheap guitar by any means, but I'm perfect. I couldn't be happier with this. Okay, Nate, thanks. Christmas riffs sound really good. Thanks, Alexander. Please record an entire math rock Christmas album. I would if I had the time. And yeah, that's a big investment. If you check out Blackfish, that's BLAKFISH, they have a song. They did a Christmas song years where we're talking like late 2000, probably 8 or 9, something like that. They did a Christmas one that's on YouTube. There's Ruben as well, which have Christmas is awesome. Not strictly, they're more like mathcore kind of sound, but they're definitely math rock style Christmas songs. There's probably some others, to be honest, and I've forgotten off the top of my head. But go and check those two out. Okay, Stuart, what's a sus tuning? Is this meant to be a joke, or? But you could tune to a sus chord. That's all I'm gonna say. It's the riff. Okay. Yeah, this is why I should look at the chat while I'm playing stuff, because everyone's asking questions about riffs and I forgot what I played. Yeah, it's the Math Rock Christmas. I could show you that. So it's all third harmonies. Oh, the riff. I got it now. Incandescent, yeah. I snuck that in there, of course. Everything has to be in the key of G or C to do that. Yeah, so like I said, I'll definitely, I definitely want to do one of the live streams dedicated to learning that riff in that regard. Okay, okay, Ginge the Digger, good to see you again, and thanks for the comment on the survey I did, and then I realized like I'd done a few typos on that survey, and you can't edit it once it's out. So, but basically I just asked like, why did you subscribe to my channel? Trying to get things more focused, because these days like I'm not gaining any subscribers, and the click-through rate is really low on my channel. So I've been trying to work out what my audience, what you guys want to see, and it seems like lesson content was like 72% or something. So I'm gonna focus on that from now on, and probably just do like a main video on that each week. The next video I'll do actually is about these sus chords, and put that into more of a neat package that you can watch. But here I can, you know, talk about, if you have questions about sus chords and stuff like that, we can go over that. I can go into a bit more detail in that regard. Yes, Nate, unfortunately it's the end of the Mustang era. Okay, so sorry, you asked I completely dodged your question there, but super tuning friends, there will be one. I plan to do one probably at the start of next year. I'm thinking of doing that tuning that I discovered from Rob Scallon recently, where you tune the D to C sharp, and the G, I think it's up to G sharp, and you get this like A major kind of sound. I thought it was just quite wonderful. I plan probably to do that tuning, or I might just go classic, you know, F A C G C E or D A E A C sharp E in that regard. Okay. Okay, Herbert, will I get another pink Mustang? I don't think I'll get pink. I want to get Lake Placid blue, like my other telly. That's my favorite color. Okay, Salo. So it was an excellent lesson, especially for entry-level people like me. Okay, well, thanks for the feedback there. Yeah, I tried to teach you like what is a sus chord exactly, what's going on there, without trying to make it too complicated for you. Just think of it as the replacement of the third degree in any chord that you play. You can only do sus2 and sus4 because when you use so 1, 3, and 5, in between that you got 2 and 4, right? Next one is going to be after 5 is going to be 6, so that would be called like a major 6 chord instead. That'd be like an E major 6 chord, for example. Just bar it all the way across instead. This is your 6th degree. And then after that is a major 7. Like major 9. So you only have that 2 and that 4 available to you for a sus shape. And you might be wondering why I put like major, you know, like a major 7 sus2. Because that's like major 7 interval, and then you've got your sus2 sound there. So the 7, when you make a quadad, which is a 7th chord, they also determine, well, if a chord is major, minor, or you know, dominant sounds. Like major 7, that's the major 7 interval. Minor 7, that's the minor 7 interval, and then you can have a dominant chord which contains that flat 7, but you also have that major 3rd in there still. So the 7th degree also determines the, you know, the what you would call a chord as well. I am, Nate, on a Mustang hiatus, but I really want to get one again. But again, I set up the trem on the YY10 to do that kind of, you know, the trem stuff that I do. So I'm going to keep that for now, I think. But I do miss that kind of out of tune sound that you usually get with a Mustang. But it's really fun. It's a sus guitar, as Joshua says. Right. Greg, are you in England? No, I'm in South Korea. And I think someone asked about why did I move to Korea. So I've said it, Alexander, yeah. I've said in quite a few streams in the past, but I moved here with my girlfriend at the time, who's Korean, and started working here, and I've been here since. We're married now and have children and stuff. So it's a long story from like 2000. Moved here in 2012. So yeah, well, how long's that now? Nearly 10 years here now. Yeah, will be next year. Well, I forgot what year we're in. Thanks, COVID. um, so okay, carrying on down. I got 5 minutes that I need to shoot. So let's get a good question in. Thanks, Solo. It says thanks for the beautiful chord lessons. I'll be getting a few of those more. At the moment, if you want chords, I think Trevor Wong is your guy, because he's just throwing out those chord videos left, right, and center. So I think you could learn. You could just put like a Bible together of of chords. The Math Rock / Midwest Emo chord Bible. I think that's what he needs to make, because that guy he knows. He's like the jazz guitarist of math rock when it comes to chords in that regard. Wonderful stuff. I try not to watch his videos, because then I feel like I start to use those chords, and then I'm like, okay, I need to I need to use my shapes or something like that, right? So, but he is a wonderful player. Okay. Nate, the Steal This chord progression viz would be good. Yeah, I'm making another one of those. I did do it in like a format where I didn't talk, but then like I was trying to describe things through text, and I felt like that really wasn't an effective way. So I'm going to go back to the old style, which I haven't done, probably been about half a year now since I did a Steal This chord progression in that regards. But I'm definitely going to do that. Actually, in the update of the guide, this is coming soon. I did say November. I know we're in December now, but I want it to be, good right when I put it out. With that, I'm adding a bunch of more chord progressions, and I finally found the paper I was looking for that I made ages ago. So this is like math rock song chord progressions. So I just went through really popular math rock songs, and I tried to work out what is the progression that's going on there. So I got like Never Meant, The Summer Ends, Two Moons by Toe, Solid Ground by Maps and Atlases, Anti-Chokes as well, Baboon, Chinchilla, a lot of TTNG stuff here. If I Sit Still, 26 is Dancier Than 4. I got, quite a few. I especially went towards like the math pop kind of bands, so like Tube Lord and Colour, because they had a lot of poppy progressions in them. And who else have I got as well? And I did this because I was going to make a lesson about it, and I made notes on all of these progressions, and I've completely forgot. So I've got to go over it again. So I'm going to include a bunch of these in the book as well. I know a lot of them are in different tunings and stuff, but we can still determine what the progression is in that regard. Right, carrying on down. Have got any good questions? Thank you, Jonah. Really love this Teddy holding here. But to be honest, like, just guitars are guitars. Like, don't have it in your head that like, okay, I need to get this. I don't know how much I paid for this. It must have been about $2,000, I guess. Almost in that regard, somewhere near that anyway, because the import fees and stuff over here are insane. But like, don't feel like this is like super major upgrade to what you're gonna get with like a Squier Classic Vibe or something. Sure, it's got better electronics, it's had more hands on it, it's less likely to have any defects in that regard, more hands-on time, it's got a lack of finish, there's a lot of differences to it, but guitars are guitars. If you get a nice one, you get a nice one. You just got to go and play some. So if you're looking to get into the thin line stuff, I know Squier did the Classic Vibe 70s one with the two humbuckers in it. That guitar looks quite nice to me. And the necks on them, because I've played the the 50s Classic Vibe, that the purple one, I got like the Pete Honore inspired one. Those necks are ever so fantastic. Like they're I haven't put my hands on a bad one, to be honest. They're made ever so well, and I like those narrow tool frets they put on them. And the tint's a bit too yellowy for my liking, but that's just personal preference. And those necks feel great on those guitars. The 50s ones they make out of pine, you get that in a white blonde finish or a butterscotch one, and you got to go and try them because some of them like weigh, like even though they're pine, they're stupidly heavy, like heavier than like some Les Pauls that I've played, and some of them are really, really light. So again, it's like luck of the draw if you get a good one in that regard. But yeah, tellies. If you want a telly, if you're trying to get into tellies, even the affinity stuff, you can find really good ones of those. Okay, T-San, they said, yeah, your lessons are awesome. I actually got into math rock after finding okay, a 7 riff video of yours. Oh, okay, excellent. I'm glad to know. I will be concentrating more on the lesson stuff from next year. I think I need to get back onto that. Okay, Sala says Lake Placid blue or turquoise are the best colors for guitars. I just like blue guitars. If now the hue of my guitars have become like surf green, whatever color blue that got guitar is, and I got the bogey slime green Yivit Young guitar, and the Lake Placid blue back there as well. With this one, I'm replacing the pickups, so I've took everything off at the moment. And yeah, I said I didn't really dig the bridge pickup in that got guitars, and I ripped it out last night. Well, I haven't. It's still in the guitar, but yeah, it's like a really cheap Chinese made knockoff of a pickup, basically, that costs like $30 or something like that. So doesn't sound that, I think I deduce why it doesn't sound that great, so I'm going to replace that. But the one in the neck they make themselves, and it's really good quality, that Paragon one. But the bridge one, I gotta swap that out, and I'll decide I'm thinking about what to put in there at the moment. Okay, right, so I need to shoot. Let's see, we've got any last questions. Okay, Abhishek, they said Trevor's good, but you are a Mathra guy. Well, thank you very much. It's not a competition. I don't see Trevor's channel as a competition or anything like that. Just different resources, and he's a fantastic guy. I need to reach out to him and do that collab video. He said he would, but I've just been too busy as usual. Okay, Alexander, could you make some content on acoustic math rock? I would if I had an acoustic guitar. I did used to have one, but no longer. But I've been thinking about getting one, or a classical anyway. One of those electric classic hybrid kind of guitars. They look really cool. Okay, Zach DeBlanc, any tips on arpeggiated diminished chord progressions? Don't really tend to use the diminished a lot. If I do, it's to get that resolved back to the 1. It's like a B minor 7 flat 5. It's like, I want to go to the tonic, please. The C there. So you could always throw those in the progression. Also, wherever you're playing, there's always if you go down 1, you can always throw that diminished in there as well. Flat it, go down a fret, You can also do it, I think, going up a fret as well. I forgot what it was called. It's been a while since I did it, but you can definitely just throw in a diminished chord, a fret lower, or I think it was a fret higher as well. There's always an opportunity to do that. I tend to like replacing that diminished chord with a borrowed chord from the same key. So let's say C major. When we come to the 7th here, instead of playing that B minor 7 flat 5, I just like to play a borrowed chord, so a B major 7 instead, and then go to the tonic instead. So like C major, E minor, D minor, and then what we go from? Sorry, E minor, F major, and G major, G dominant, or we could say just play straight G, A minor, and then like so that's the borrowed chord there. Sounds a little out, but it fits, of course, like that. So I tend to replace that diminished sound with that borrowed flat major 7 in that regard. But there was a point where I was using a lot of diminished stuff in the stuff I was playing. Like in Persimmon, that's one of my songs. I put like the diminished run in there and stuff, so I do use it from time to time. Again, that's taken from that. Here's an A major chord, and I was playing the diminished flat and one fret down. I need more coffee. Anyway, I got to shoot because I got class, but really good question there. And you said arpeggiated diminished chords. Apologies, I missed the arpeggiated bit. Hey Jeff, good to see you. So Brain, good to see you again as well. So yeah, Jack, we're not brawling to death. Yeah, me and Trevor and I should say. Okay, I want to say thanks for joining today. If you need these, if you would like these chords, they will be available to patrons. I just need to upload it to Patreon. If I was on it, I would have uploaded those before this live stream, but such is life. Okay, so there'll be main video this weekend. This Friday. I'll probably do the sus chord video, but make it into a compact package for you, and probably be something on Wednesday. But we'll see how this week goes. So I want to say thank you very much for joining today. Thank you very much for all of the support, and thank you very much to the patrons that are supporting this channel. If you would like to learn more about the math rock, then I do have I'm just terrible at promoting my own stuff. I do have an e-guide available. You can get that from my website or buy it through Teespring. And there is an updated version of this coming soon, probably by the end of this month. And I will go through that in one of these live streams just to show what the changes are to that one, as long as I remember. Okay, I said the word, Jeff. Okay, thanks everyone. Have a great week, and I'll see you all next Monday. Okay, thanks for hanging. See you, everyone.